While preparing for high adventure, my biggest fear was not the intense physical challenges or the months of preparation. My biggest fear? Food. I have had to avoid gluten since 2013, when I almost died of celiac disease. But over the past 5 years, I've figured out how to navigate the complexity of high adventure with food allergies. So let me show you how. Northern Tier and Philmont will be the focus of this video because their food preparation is so similar. First, let's start with Philmont. 4 to 5 months out from your trek, you'll want to familiarize yourself with how Philmont food works. The basic idea is that the meals are packaged into breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and 1 through 10. The 1 through 10 will correspond with the calendar date. So if it's July 11th that ends in a 1, you'll have lunch 1. This meal would be on a date that ends with a 9. So that would be a July 19th, a June 9th, a June 29th, etc. And a bunch of items are packed into the bags. The next step is to check out Philmont's website. Type in Philmont Food to your search bar. Trail Food menu should come up. Click here. Now, click on Complete List of Trail Meals and Ingredients. Go to the Allergies and Dietary Restrictions and click here. Read this page. It's a very important page and it tells you about a lot of logistics. After that, your keys to success will be the breakfast, lunch, and dinner links. So let's start with breakfast. On here, this will tell you what's for breakfast 1 through 10, and it will tell you which food allergies are accommodated by each of these foods. So, for example, this peanut butter and jelly bar is kosher, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, and vegan. That's what all those symbols mean. And there's a nice key right down here. Scroll down and you will find a description, the serving size, the ingredients, the allergens, and the manufacturer's information right here with some nutrition facts. Then return to the previous page and open all 3. Print the first page of each. Oh yeah! Before you go about making your substitutions, make sure that you have the correct year. This is a 2018 menu, so this would only be good for the 2018 season. If you need to, you can call each of the manufacturers for each of the foods to verify, but these are pretty accurate. So I'm going to do an example for gluten-free. I'll start with breakfast, so highlight the foods that you must substitute. Now notice that this one has a GF symbol for gluten-free, so I won't need to do that. When you go to make your substitutions, try to resemble the meals as closely as possible, as Philmont designs the meals with specific nutritional requirements in mind. So, when you make your gluten-free substitutions, I'll do an example here for breakfast 7. Find a gluten-free beef jerky, some sort of an instant oatmeal in packets, banana chips, or some sort of other freeze-dried fruit. Find gluten-free Pop-Tarts. Yes, they do exist, thankfully. And then some sort of a gluten-free drink mix. It doesn't have to be exact, but it should closely resemble the foods on here. And that will help you fit in a little bit better socially, because you'll be a little bit more like the rest of the people in your crew in what you're eating. Consider that your food should be as light as possible because you're backpacking. Breakfast is cold or with boiled water, and lunch is a grab and go. Dinner? That's a little bit harder. Since Northern Tier and Philmont dinners are pretty similar, this is where I'd like to transition to Northern Tier. So of course, check out the Northern Tier Food tab after a Google search and familiarize yourself with the page. You'll want to submit a dietary restrictions form, which you can find here under Special Dietary Needs. After that, I found the most success by requesting this Excel document, which is entitled Commissary Menu. What you'll want to do is you'll want to find out what type of adventure you're doing. So, that could be a 9-night, a 10-night, 11-night, 8-night, and so on. And then select the proper tab. Here we have the breakfasts, and what's here? We have the lunches, and we have the dinners. Now for gluten-free, there's a special tab here on the bottom, and this has all the substitutions that Northern Tier can make. Now this is really crossing over into Philmont territory. Based on the menu for your specific allergen, you'll want to develop for yourself a menu. In the menu that I put together, green represents items that I know for sure will be gluten-free, and that I can eat in common with the rest of the people in the crew. Blue represents the items that Northern Tier will substitute, and orange is what I will be bringing. Next, write out your quantities for each of the meals. Of the things that you're going to substitute. Dinner substitutions are generally a little bit harder, so let's check out this example of the Northern Tier fajitas. So you have the tortillas, you have the Uncle Ben's seasoned rice, you have the chicken, green peppers, fresh onions, fajita seasoning, salsa, cheese block, pudding powder. So here's what I wrote in to substitute. Northern Tier provides the tortillas, the fresh green peppers will be gluten-free already, and then I bought myself some gluten-free Louisiana red beans and rice, and some Indian rice pudding to replace what I cannot eat. Getting the food that you're substituting is only half the work. Now you'll notice that this has 2 servings, and this also has 2 servings, so you'll need to make smaller portions. To do that, we can use this food saver. Yo, check out this VHS tape that's old, yeah. Let's check out how we do this. So you're going to need a bowl. And what you're going to do is open up your package and dump the contents into the bowl. Make sure that you remove the little packet. Toss it aside. Now you're going to make yourself a plastic pouch. So open up like this, and then press down and slice. It's better to make your packets too big than too small, because you'll need room for both the food and the water. Now you need to seal one edge. After thoroughly mixing so that the spices go through, open up, and you'll have a nice clean edge right here. So, pour your portion in. So that's going to be about half of this. There we go, that's about half. Okay? And now, suck the air out of it with the machine. And there you go. Now you have your food ready to go. Except you need a way to hold it. So just make a handle by folding down like that and then cutting. Once here, once there, and there you go. You have a handle. Now to use this, you'll cut away here. You'll hold by the handle and pour in how much water you'll need. You can determine how much water you'll need based on the package, the original package. So pour whatever you're not going to eat back into the package. If you're going to put this into storage, put the packet back in. If you're not, if you're just going to eat this relatively soon, simply close the package back up, and now you can eat it either out of here or out of here. Both are ready to go pretty much. So you'll want to write the cooking instructions. So this requires 2.5 cups. I put half the red beans and rice in here, so that's going to require 1.25 cups of boiling water. And the cooking time is 15 to 20 minutes. So on here I'm going to write 1.25 cups water, dinner 1, and 15 to 20 minutes. Let's do another example with the Indian rice pudding. For 2 servings, which is the whole package, you'll need 1.25 cups of water. Since I'll only be taking 1 serving, that's half of the package, I'll only need half the water. So instead of 1.25 cups, 5/8 cups. Sometimes there are some meals that you'll have trouble with finding a replacement for. So you can craft your own meal. Try and stick to the basics. For this substitution, I'm going to be using dried carrots and Spam. So, again, open the package, pour out how much you want, and then there are actually different types of food saver bags that you can use for your convenience. So, these come with one side already sealed. And you could just pour this in, however much you want. And then seal her up. You can choose to add different spices, but I would stick with the basics, like I said. Pepper, salt, cayenne, maybe an oregano. Or something similar. So once again, seal it up. Now on this one, there are special directions. It says 1 part product to 2 parts water. So, based on how much you have in here, you know how much water to add. Okay? Then once you get to the campsite on that day, you can rehydrate this, add your Spam in, mix it up in your bowl, and you're good to go. For cooking with food allergies, you're probably going to need your own stove, because while your crew will have a stove, you'll need your own separate one to cook your food to avoid cross-contamination. I recommend the Jetboil Zip or a similar product because it works so quickly. That way you can time your food better with the rest of your crew. As you can see, it comes with the stability legs, and then you buy the fuel. You stick it in, this comes off, and label your fuels so you don't get them mixed up. You'll only need one or two with you. So the one stored inside and then an extra. So for this model, you screw on the top, make sure that the valve is closed at first, and then this component goes right on top. Try to only boil water in this. That way, this doesn't become a smellable, and then you won't have to deal with it every night. Makes cleaning a lot easier as well. Now as for transportation, you'll want to check all this stuff, or you might want to ship it ahead of time. So if you're flying, checked or shipped ahead of time. If you're driving, it's perfectly fine how it is. Just keep all of your supplies together to prevent them from getting mixed up. Take your substitutions for each meal and group them together in gallon Ziplocs, just like this. So now you have all your stuff there, and then you'll want to take your menu and you'll want that in its own Ziploc as well. So you have this menu as a guide, and you have all these bags. Put everything in a sturdy box, tape it up. If you're going on a flight, a duffel bag works really well. When you arrive at Philmont, one of the first places that you go is logistics. You give your food to the people in logistics, and they will figure out where it needs to go and at what time. They are very reliable. The Northern Tier system works pretty similarly. Now as for the dining halls, make sure that you turn in your dietary restriction form for Northern Tier, and if one becomes available for Philmont, certainly fill that out. You will receive instructions for how to be able to be accommodated with your allergy. Just be sure to be assertive and let them know exactly what it is that you need. And don't forget, a scout is courteous, so be polite. When it comes to accommodating food allergies, Northern Tier and Philmont have come a long way. Always be sure to express your gratitude, because remember, in the end, they don't have to accommodate you, but they make a good effort to. Good luck with your trip. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and I will be sure to get back to it as soon as possible.